At the T-minus 3-minute mark, tape recorders on board the spacecraft were turned on. These recorders record both voice and data. We have ignition sequence start. The engine's now building up to 7.7 million pounds of thrust. We have a launch commit and we have a liftoff. Moving back. The Saturn V lifting off with power.
You are listening to Rocket Shop Radio Hour at Big Heavy World. I am your host, Abby BK, and with us tonight we have the Arty LaVigne Band. How are you doing?
We're doing great. It's Mark Christensen over here. I'm Arty LaVigne, and the rest of the band, they'll show up later.
Yeah, right.
They're here in spirit.
So we get the stripped down, authentic version tonight with the two of you.
Yeah.
The OG Arty LaVigne.
Yes. So take us through the OG story. How did you find each other? You're all great musicians in the local scene.
Well, do you want to start with your history, and then I'll fold my history into it?
So we found one another. I owned a few radio stations in town, and Mark sent me a resume one day when he moved from Los Angeles and said, you know, I do audio work and I do this. And at the end of the resume, he said, if you ever need a bass player, I play bass. And we needed a bass player. So we brought him in. It was a group called the John Tower Group. It was myself, Michael Coburn, and at that time, was Brian still with us?
Yeah, Brian was still drumming.
So Brian played the drums, and
Brian Krogan.
And we headed off from there. We recorded an album called Not From Here, and we did two albums, actually, and the second was Good Sad Story. And then things changed a little bit. And I started getting really concentrating on my songwriting and making it as good as it could be. So that's what happened there. And then we evolved into a group that was called Bardella with Cui DiFrancesco, myself, Jeff Barrows, and Mark. And then we ended that and went into Radio Underground and released another album called Dark and Getting Darker. And that was recorded in Middlesex at Bennett Shapiro's place, the Mad Tech Sound, and Lovetown. I love the name of the studio. So we did that album. It was a lot of fun and did okay. And then we decided just to, when we were rehearsing new songs because of COVID and everything, and I'd written all these songs, we started thinking, well, let's just call it the Arty LaVigne Band, and we'll go from there. But I want to emphasize, it is a real collaboration. I bring songs to the band, and they're great musicians. So we always end up with something bigger than what we began with, and that's the nature of the new album as well, called The Getaway.
Yeah, I think as we were knocking the dust off post-COVID and trying to figure out a way to get back out there, the one thing that we kept coming back to was, when we try and book things, it would be, you know, I'm in this band, the Radio Underground, or, you know, Bardella, and they would go, who? And you would go, Arty LaVigne's band. Oh, yeah, them. So it just seemed like a natural, let's call it what it is. Let's call it what everybody knows it as. Yeah. And he's the principal songwriter, and we all work together, like you said. And
yeah. So what we did after that, we did a lot of rehearsals to get ready to record. We went into a Tank recording studio in the Old North End in Burlington with our good friend Ben Collette, and came out with what I think is a great album. It's 9 songs. It's called The Getaway. We're going to play 4 of them here, just the 2 of us, but I urge you to pick up the entire album with the full band, because it was something we discovered along the way, and we're pretty happy with it. So we want to share it. That's why we're here.
Yes, well, we're excited to hear it. Good. So how about we kick it off with a song? What have you got for us?
Sure. Okay.
This is, I think, the opening song on the album.
Yep.
It's called This Day.
This Day.
Oh, this is one of those guitars you have to turn up.
Yeah, every now and then, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. wake up in the morning, you take a look around, you wonder how you got here, what you lost may be found. Sun is shining, it's another day. Now you're wondering what she's gonna say. Come here quickly, won't you come here right now? I need to tell you what it is I found out. This day is all I have for you. Walking down the street, blue sky up above. In your heart you're carrying the love. Hey, calling out your name. Oh, don't worry, baby, I feel just the same. In the morning, long past the night, the dream opens and you hang on for your life. This day is all I have for you. In the nighttime, you have your visions. The midnight sun is rising, and the light cuts right through. In the morning, oh, in the morning, and he
This
turns
day.
it down.
And that's how that one goes.
Yeah, you got it this time. I love it. So tell me a little bit more about your individual beginnings in music. What are both of your musical backgrounds?
Well, I'll start. My parents came to me when I was about 10 years old and said, you know, you're always singing, you're always making up songs. How'd you like to learn a musical instrument? And I said, great. Where's the piano going to go? And they said, maybe not a piano. How about something smaller, a little less expensive? And I said, I don't know, guitar? And that was the beginning of a very long and expensive journey. I grew up in Los Angeles, played in and out of the clubs there. This is in the late 80s, early 90s. And then transplanted here to Vermont and eventually found my way into Arty's circumference.
Life.
Yeah, and made myself comfortable and have yet to leave.
Yeah.
So
Which is great, you know. So it's been a great way of growing musically, because Mark brings not just the guitar to the table or the bass. He plays an instrument called the stick, and it is a fantastic instrument, and you could explain it better than I can.
it's a 12 or 10 to 12 stringed instrument that's played by tapping on the strings instead of plucking or strumming them. So you're using both hands. You're playing the bass parts with the left hand, just like on a piano or a keyboard. And the treble clef is basically played with the right hand. and it's much more common in prog rock than it is in Americana. But
Probably seen Tony Levin.
yeah,
playing it.
yeah. If you own a Peter Gabriel album, you've heard it definitely.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. So there. I'm not from L.A. I'm from Winooski, and and it was a great place to grow up. That's all I can say. We had neighborhood kids and everything, and that's where I met up with my first musician friends. Had a friend I was growing up with who came from a very musical family. Both of his brothers, were playing in battles of the bands in Burlington, and that was huge. From Winooski going to Burlington, incredible. So we did that. So Rick Boyd and I and another friend, Mike Kruger, formed a trio called The Mods, and we played the teen club in Winooski on weekends, and actually got paid a couple times, and we'd go to Bill's Diner and eat gravy fries or whatever. And later on, we would do that at Nectar's with different bands. So it just kept growing from there. But I started on drums young. I went to my parents and said, I'd really like to pound on stuff. So I did that. And fortunately, the drums were set up in a room that was kind of noisy anyway, so it was good. And my grandmother was fine with it. So practiced that for a long time, and then just kept playing music. And then kind of drifted away for a while. When I went to Denver University, I got into radio. They had a great program there, so I started there, transferred back to UVM, did WRUV, and moved to California in the mid-'70s, went to a broadcast school there, which was called Ron Bailey's School of Broadcasting. And it was all about enthusiasm and all of this. So that was a good experience, first time in a very diverse situation and city, and I loved it. And first job I got was in Tucson, Arizona, doing mornings. Did that for about a year, and got a call from a friend who just got the license for WNCS. And he said, "You want to come back and be the program director?" And I said, "Sure." So started NCS, stayed there for a few years. It was a great experience. Then left the business, had a family. Got into my family's business. My father was the funeral director in Winooski. So did that for about 2-3 years, and then got back into radio because another friend called and said, "I've got a license for the Wizard in Virgins. Do you want to come down and do that?" So I said, "Yeah, I'd love to do it." So that's what I started there. Ended up in ownership after about a year, and we went from there and acquired the Buzz at some point and did both stations. And about 10 years ago, I was a minority owner, so they sold the stations. And I did a little part-time work at WDEV for about 10 years, which was great to be working with Ken and Mark Johnson and a whole bunch of people there. And then moved on to the Point, where I'm doing afternoon drive there now. So 40 years later, I'm back at the Point. It's fun.
they keep dragging you back in.
Getting dragged back, that's right. But, this band has been a great eye-opener, and we've had a lot of fun recording together and making music live together. And most recently, we did a show at the Double E that was really a fun experience all the way around. So we'd like to do more. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So how do you feel like the whole radio side of your experience has also intersected with music? Because they're obviously kind of hand in hand in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Well, very much so. And in fact, when I do interviews, my whole thing in the back of my mind was, I'm going to ask them about songwriting. So I would get something out of it. So I've done a lot of interviews with people over the years because that's what I did and continue to do today. But it was like the radio thing has changed dramatically. Okay, like all the businesses around today, it's not the same. And there was a lot more creativity in the beginning, and unfortunately, some of that has gone away. But keep listening, because it can always come back. In fact, we're going to bring back local music to the Point by doing a show on Sunday night, which is going to be the first, well, it's the second, but really the first of a series of shows. We went to Tank Recording Studio. We recorded the album there. We're going to feature 3 of the songs there. And then after that, we're going to do one with Freeway Clyde, Michael Chorney's band, and we're going to follow that with Medela, looks like Lamp may come in at some point, and some other bands as well. And we'll do it once a month on Sundays. So look forward to that. And it's a lot of fun to do. And working with Tank Recording Studio and Ben has been really good. Really good.
Awesome. Yeah, I love the mix of the two. It seems like a great gig to be able to do that for sure.
Yeah, it has been.
And in terms of, I guess, your songwriting process and the collaboration of making what you're playing and the songs that you're doing, how does that kind of work? Take us through how you bring your songs to the rest of the band and how everything kind of comes together.
Do you want to comment on that one?
Sure, yeah. No, I can describe the process. I mean, you basically come in with a framework.
Yeah.
Basically words and chords.
Yeah.
And play it for us. And we all...
What's he doing?
Arty, he surrounds himself with musicians that have short attention spans. So usually about halfway through playing us the song, we're already playing along because we want to find something to do.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll say, it's got, I imagine it has, this kind of groove, or it's, it's a Little Feat kind of song, and, we'll sort of factor that in. But most of the time it's just, here's the song, what are we going to do with it? I have a wide, a vast array of interests musically, so I try and it's almost like they're Halloween costumes. He brings a song and it's like, okay, who can I be for this one? What can I dress up as for this song?
Yeah.
So there's some Jerry Garcia tinged stuff. There's some Roger McGuinn
David
sort of
Gilmour
stuff. David
stuff.
Gilmour. Yeah, it's dress up for me.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And for me, it's just great to get these songs out. We actually were playing a little bit of a frame of a song before we went on the air. So that's the process. I'll start sometimes just with our bass player, Jeff, who we play often. And then once he's got his little frame going, then we start bringing it to everybody else. But sometimes it's the whole band with a song. It just is a matter of the timing and the opportunity. And so far, we've been pretty good at making that opportunity work out.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks.
So how often do you find yourself writing songs, and what typically comes to you first? Do you usually write a part on guitar? Do you get a tune in your head? How does that work for you?
It works in various ways. So I have a lot of lyrics that I work with. I keep writing. I don't stop. And sometimes I have the chords already, and the lyrics just go in. Sometimes it's putting them together, or that's pretty much it. It really does depend. Sometimes, some songs you can write in one setting, but they're rare. But when that happens, it's pretty cool. So
Yeah, definitely.
That's
Just to
about
be
it.
able to have it all in one go for sure.
yeah. But I mean, some of them, take a little bit of thinking it through and coming up with the thread of the narrative and everything, and trying to deliver that. So these songs are very, they're stories.
Right.
That's what they are. And they could.
And just to make things interesting, we've just started taking some songs from our other bands, like Radio Underground,
Right.
and reworking them and saying, okay, so we've got, it's basically like starting over. It's like saying, okay, we've got these words and these chords. What are we going to do with it? Let's pretend we already haven't done something with it.
Yeah.
And we're doing that with a handful of old
about
Radio Underground
three or
songs.
four songs right now we're working on there. Our drummer is great at establishing some very interesting beats. And Jeff, the bass player, excellent player, and Mark, you can hear him today. So it works out great for all of us.
Yeah, definitely. And how often are you typically rehearsing together to kind of get down the different parts for your songs?
Post-COVID, I mean,
We went through a period post-COVID where we met almost every weekend on a Sunday, and we were really very honed in on doing that. And then the whole projection that I had was to go into the studio, and I wanted to go to Tank Recording Studio. I know Ben's dad, and I just thought this is the place to go. And when we got there, I don't know if I should tell the story, but we arrived on a day he had no idea we were coming. And he handled it so well.
Surprise!
So he set us up, said, well, I didn't expect you, but we're going to get you set up while I do this over here. And he did, and we went from there, and the album is the result, and the relationship just kept growing from there for all of us, with him. He's just a very savvy and experienced individual who's done some great work over the years.
Also in answer to your question about our process, one of the important aspects of the way we work together is one of the places we normally rehearse is at the drummer's house. Traditionally, that's where the most gear needs to be moved from. So that's usually where we end up rehearsing. And Andrew, our drummer, has basically a recording setup. So we record all of our rehearsals, and then we go back and say, okay, what worked, what didn't, and we have these study tapes that we go to, and
That's
so
how it
we're
developed,
constantly
yeah.
trying things and honing things, and then going back and basically doing the taste test, and that's been a really valuable part of our process.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we'd love to hear another song. So
Okay.
what have you got for us?
Little tune called Tuning.
Tuning first.
You want to do Winter Dogs?
Yep.
Okay. This is a song called Winter Dogs.
Perfect.
And it's about dogs in the winter, right?
Just imagine it's a very dark and a wintry night, and you're in an apartment building, and you haven't been out for a long, long time, and you're looking at this blizzard blowing through the common area, and that's where Winter Dogs really kind of started. But I've been in Vermont a long time.
You've seen some snow.
I've seen some snow. Here we go with Winter Dogs from The Getaway. Winter dogs are howling for the sun. The darkness slides in. You take it on the run. Dogs are howling, and I'm howling now. The snow falls around you, you're heading back home. The home fires warm you. Go to your soul. The night surrounds you as you're heading down below. There's so much light here. Let it shine. the sun. The smoke's rising up to the sky. When the dogs are howling, howling for everyone, oh everyone. There's so much light here. Let it shine. Let it shine for everyone. Oh, when the dogs keep howling, when the dogs keep howling, oh, for the sun. Here it comes, the new rising sun.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit more about your album, The Getaway, and what inspired the concept of it all.
You want me to start?
Yeah.
All right.
Go right ahead.
All right. I'll speak for Arty. No. He post-COVID, well, during COVID, you got to be a little more introspective, a little more autobiographical about the songs you were writing.
Yeah.
And a lot of them were about Winooski and growing up in Winooski. And I mean, the song "The Getaway," which I think that's next on our set list, is all about growing up in Winooski, outside the VFW, and seeing the tank and the whole 9 yards. So when we originally were sort of formulating the band, or this version of the band, for a while we were going by the name Winooski Falls.
Yeah. A little too direct.
Yeah, as falls Winooski, so Winooski Falls.
Right.
And that again led us to, well,
Let's just call it the Arty LaVigne
let's call it
Band,
the
right,
Arty
Mark?
LaVigne Band. Yeah, exactly. Let's be as clear as possible about who's running this. And so,
Yeah, and one of the other backgrounds to it was during COVID, I got into this thing because I was working from home. Nobody really went anywhere. You didn't see anyone. So I would spend, during the week, a few hours a week creating like song cycles. Some of them were original. Some of them were just covers of artists that I liked. And I ended up with about 20 CDs of stuff like that. And out of that, I had written some songs that were going to stick around for a while. And that's the way it really kind of unfolded for us. And when we took the songs into Tank Recording Studio, we had a concept of where we were going, and we had a clear direction because we'd been practicing and we'd been listening to it for so long. But they grew even more so there. And it was a lot of it had to do with the environment that we were playing in and who we were dealing with in Ben, the owner, and it was awesome. So that's pretty much how we ended up with the Getaway. And I think in the future, we'll do that again. and
Yeah.
possibly do a live show from the actual recording studio and stream it and put new songs in with some of the getaway songs as well. So that's off into the future. We'll see. We'll make it there.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And so you had mentioned that you also were kind of working on reworking some of your other songs from previous bands and
Yes.
projects. So are some of those reworks a part of this album, or is this more of just the new material that you made during COVID?
This is it's not part. It's well,
Not this album.
Okay.
yeah. What is on the album, The Getaway, is stuff that was written specifically for that. It's only been since then, as we've been knocking the dust off and getting back out in front of people, that we're sort of looking at some of the songs and going, what if we played around with that a little? So that's sort of the next step.
Gotcha.
And we had a little impetus. We have a couple people who would come back and go, I really like this song, Johnny Bronco. And that was a Radio Underground song. And I'm kind of going, oh, okay, we haven't played that forever. And I like it too. So that's another song that we're going to get back into. And we had a song from also Radio Underground, Blue Water.
Yeah, Blue Water. California Dreamin' is also being, that was a Bardella song and a Radio Underground song. And
So yeah, we have old songs, we have new songs. We're going to just keep plowing ahead.
so what Arty's saying is we take requests.
Yeah, right.
It may just take us a while to get around to it.
Yes.
Right, yeah.
Totally. And how has gigging around been since post-COVID? Obviously, things really changed during that time.
Yeah.
So, how has that been for you? Where do you find yourself playing most these days?
It's been to be honest, it's been really rough. Only because COVID. I'm doing air quotes. COVID ended,
Sure.
but and so everybody rushed back out to start booking, and there was a wealth of talent out there.
Yeah.
So getting on a stage has been a little difficult. What has been really good for us is we've fostered this relationship with Halversons, who does their Courtyard music series,
Yeah.
and they do that as a way of raising funds for local charities. And we've had a really good experience playing that. We usually play that series a couple times each summer.
This
And-
summer, June 18th and September 25th.
Yep. And I think this time around, the first charity we're playing for is the Afterglow.
Yes.
Foundation?
Yeah, Afterglow Foundation, right.
And so we've done everything from the Vermont Language Justice
Yes, yeah.
group. We did a fundraiser for Iggy Friday, who's a friend of the band.
Yeah. His dad. Yeah. And Iggy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So this year we're going to do, like he said, and I think in September we're talking about possibly doing something for the Joe Moore Foundation. So that's the next thing up. And we just did a thing at the Double E that was really fun and exciting. So we hope to be back there before the summer's out as well.
So the more concise and less rambling answer to your question is it's been tricky, but we're finding ways to make the most of the opportunities we get.
Awesome. It's all you can do, and
That's
you're doing
right.
well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we'd love to hear your third song. So what
Okay.
do you have up next?
You want to do the Getaway or the Crow? Let's do the Getaway since we were talking about it.
We'll do the getaway.
All right.
Little tour of Winooski in the 60s.
We'll give you a tour of Winooski. We won't talk about urban renewal.
I mean, we can, but
That Rotary wasn't always there in Winooski, just to let you know, okay? So we'll point out some landmarks, and we're going to do the getaway right now from The Getaway. I grew up on Main Street, USA, with a World War II army tank. VFW outside my window. I look up to see the flag waving in the breeze. We watch cars rolling up and down the street. And it made no matter. People are moving faster and faster. Faster and faster. On Saturday night, the band would play all the songs we heard on the radio. Dancers were cutting up the floor, stomping out the darkness right outside the door. Wondering what it was for. Black and white, love and hate, and the war. Proud Mary, proud Mary. Take my hand, let's get away tonight. Music stops and the fights break out. Proud Mary, it's time to get out. Let's get away. So much more to hold in the palm of your hand. There's so much more than the moon and stars above. Take my hand, my love. Proud Mary, proud Mary. Let's get away right now. The stars are shining, the night is young. It's time we get away. Tonight's the night. The time is right. Don't look back. See the morning light ahead. Get away tonight's the night. Take my hand, it feels so right. The lights are shining, oh so bright. Tonight's the night.
The Getaway. There we go. I'm imagining all the scenes in Winooski.
Well, we also like
We'll
to
do
stress.
a walking tour
Yes.
someday, okay?
Okay.
We like to stress that we use the getaway as a verb and a noun.
I love it. All right. Well, we are coming up near the end of the show, so we always give everyone who plays on the show the opportunity to really promote yourself. So where are you playing next, and how can all of our listeners support you best? Where can we find your music, et cetera, et cetera?
You can find us playing live at Halverson's on
June 18th, the Tuesday night. And it's a benefit for the
Afterglow
Afterglow
Foundation.
Foundation.
As far as finding our stuff, it's the Arty LaVigne Band, and you can find it on iTunes, Amazon, Bandcamp. We probably get the best bang for the buck from Bandcamp. And that's sort of the central location. Twisted Apple Records is the label, sort of a vanity label, but that's twistedapplerecords.com.
Check it out. There's a lot of videos from the Double E that we just did, as well as the performance for LCA TV. We actually did all of the Getaway for them, and the video's streaming now. So it's pretty cool. We really like it.
And eventually there'll be a link from that page to this.
Here we go.
Yes, of course.
And also Pure Pop Records, downtown Burlington.
Oh, yeah, you can actually get a
Get
physical,
a physical CD. Right?
CD and sit and look at it. And
they do
smell it.
still exist, everyone.
They do.
They do.
People
yeah.
forget these days.
Exactly. Optical media.
That's right.
Great. Well, we would love to hear your final song tonight. So what have you got?
This is an old, well, one of our oldies. It's called The Crow. We've done it with Radio Underground and Bardella, and this one hasn't gone through major modifications. This one did sort of remain the blues rocker.
It rocks. Okay.
Well, yeah. Imagine, if you will, a bass player and a drummer.
Yes. Pounding out the beat, playing those notes, and here they go with The Crow.
Let's turn the delay off.
Yeah. Sunburns down, you feel that heat rising up from the ground. You walk the fields, row by row. Oh, see the green and let it grow. Don't you tell me what I don't need to know. No more stories about the crow. crow. In the city, it's a neon night. You walk the streets underneath that golden light. Back in the alley, it's going down. Look up to see what's coming around. I said, don't you tell me what I don't need to know. Said no more stories about the crow. About the crow. About the crow.
The Arty LaVigne Band. Well, Arty, Mark, thanks so much for coming on the show. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for inviting us in.
Yeah.
It's great to be on the Radiator.
Of course. And keep
Thank
us
you,
up
Abby.
to date, you know, if you have any new releases, any new projects coming out, and come back on the show whenever that's the case.
Excellent.
I'd
Thank
love
you.
to.
Yes, of course. And listeners, make sure to tune in next week. We have Henry Stoll coming on the show. But as for now, this has been Rocket Shop Radio Hour. I'm your host, Abby VK, and we hope you have a wonderful day or night. We'll see you next time.
Nice.
Very good. Thank
Woo!
you.
Very nicely